What if one of the darkest crimes in One Piece history did not happen in God Valley, but somewhere far quieter, far less suspicious, hidden in the East Blue, behind a woman we thought we fully understood? Because today, this is not a theory about coincidence. This is a theory about patterns, cycles, and a crime the world government may have repeated again and again until one single incident went wrong. God Valley happened 38 years ago, and the world government wants us to believe it was a one-time disaster, a chaotic clash of legends that never happened again. But the celestial dragons do not act randomly. They act systematically. There is growing evidence that their so-called hunts follow cycles, roughly every 3 years. And when you trace those cycles forward from God Valley, you arrive at a year that fits disturbingly well. 20 years ago. The year of OYKOT. If OYKOT really was another celestial dragon hunt gone wrong, then everything surrounding Bellemere suddenly stops making sense. Bellemere tells two different stories. To Nami, she says she found her under a bridge. To the villagers, she claims she was sent to OYKOT to fight pirates and barely survived. That alone is strange, because Marines do not normally lie about basic mission details, especially not to an entire village. But the real cracks appear when you look at her actions. Bellemere leaves OYKOT immediately. She does not set up camp, she does not secure the area. She does not call for reinforcements, she does not wait for safe weather. Instead, she takes 2 infants and sails straight into a deadly storm. And this is where the story completely breaks. Because in the very same arc, One Piece explicitly tells us that pirates often destroy boats on islands so people cannot escape. Yet Bellemere's boat is untouched. No sabotage, no ambush, no pursuit. Almost as if no one expected anyone to survive. Which leads to the only explanation that actually fits the facts. Bellemere was not escaping pirates. She was escaping Marines. If Bellemere witnessed Marines killing civilians during a celestial dragon operation, calling for reinforcements would not have saved her. It would have erased her. The Marines were not the solution. They were the threat. And suddenly, everything lines up. Why she fled immediately, why she risked the storm, why she never officially registered Nami and Nojiko, why she lived quietly, why she never spoke about OYKOT again. Bellemere was hiding. And once you accept that truth, the next question becomes unavoidable. Why OYKOT? 55 years ago, a ship left Wano and arrived in the East Blue. 11 members of that ship founded Shimotsuki Village. But Oda never tells us what happened to the rest. Then you notice the name. OYKOT. Tokyo spelled backwards. A mirror of Wano. A symbolic reflection. A settlement of people who rejected isolation, who carried Wano blood, but wanted a future outside closed borders. And that was the world government's nightmare. Because the celestial dragons fear Wano. They fear Ryuma, the man who killed a dragon and shattered the illusion of their divinity. The proof that they are not gods. A village of Wano samurai outside government control was not just dangerous, it was unacceptable. So OYKOT was targeted. And this is where the pirate world enters the picture. Because like God Valley, OYKOT was not a clean operation. There were other players. Pirates. Let's start with Silver Axe. Silver Axe Kyo was not just another Rocks era name. He was known as Shiki's rival. And rivals do not exist in isolation. If Shiki has deep ties to OYKOT, then it becomes extremely likely that Silver Axe Kyo does as well. 2 powerful figures, same generation, same era, same conflict zone. Raises a dangerous possibility. What if OYKOT was not just a target, but a convergence point? A place where Wano blood, pirate ambition, and celestial dragon fear collided. And if Silver Axe Kyo came from OYKOT, or fought to protect it, then OYKOT was not just erased, it was contested. And then there is Scopper Gaban. Now this part is theory, but it is a theory that fits disturbingly well. Scopper has no confirmed origin, but stylistically, thematically, and symbolically, he fits the same lineage as Zoro's master and Denjiro. Same bearing, same discipline, same quiet authority. If Scopper truly comes from the same extended Wano bloodline, then suddenly the picture expands again. Because now OYKOT is not just connected to pirates, it is connected to Roger's era. Which means the incident was big enough, important enough, and dangerous enough that legends from both sides were pulled toward it. And then there is Shiki. Not as proof of a meeting, not as evidence of past familiarity, but as poetic irony. Before OYKOT's, Bellemere once said that if Shiki ever came to the East Blue, she would deal with him herself. At the time, it sounds confident, almost careless, like someone who still believes the world is controllable. But that line exists for one reason. Shiki does come to the East Blue, and Bellemere cannot deal with him. Instead, she nearly dies. That statement was never meant to show experience. It was meant to show hubris. A Marine believing she could handle legends. A woman believing strength was enough. OYKOT is the moment that belief dies. So here is the full picture. OYKOT was a celestial dragon hunt. The target was a settlement of Wano samurai. The Marines carried out the purge. Pirates interfered. The operation went wrong. Survivors scattered. And the truth was buried. And one of those survivors was Nami. Which means the East Blue is not peaceful by coincidence. It is quiet because it is built on a crime scene. And just like God Valley, the world government is terrified of the day the truth comes out. Because when it does, the final saga does not begin with Luffy. It begins with what they tried to erase.